Thank you so much,
You're a
Sanjiv.
amazing human being and an amazing stock picker.
Always a total
I think
pleasure and delight.
concept. Hi, guys, welcome to the first FINtastic Talk of 2022. Wishing all of you a very, very happy and a prosperous new year. As they say, my message for this year is very, very simple, that, cleverness may win you a day, but it is a good heart and generosity wins you a decade. So I wish all of you have a good heart, are generous, and do the right things so that we are able to win the whole decade forward. And let's not try to win particular days or this, particular fights, because it's always better to be a winner in the long term. And there's another saying that I really like, which says that don't build walls, build bridges. And the difference between that is that you build walls by having ego, by having tiffs, by, okay, this guy said that, let me set him right, let me do this, let me teach him a lesson. And you build bridges by letting go, by forgiving, by focusing on doing what is the right, and even letting somebody win a small fight. At the end of the day, you have to decide which is the fight which is key for you. So guys, let's build bridges this year, because the aim is that India is on an awesome track, and COVID has propelled the world into a digital adoption hyper phase, where the digital adoption has gone much far ahead of time, maybe 5 to 10 years ahead, and that is going to bring a huge amount of boom. What we would may have not seen in the next 5 years, we are going to see in those 5 years, in terms of technology changes, the way things happen. So there's a lot of exciting things ahead, and that means that there is a lot of growth ahead. And whenever there is a growth, there is money to be created and money to be made. There is a lot of liquidity in the market, but liquidity doesn't it's like a river. It doesn't stay in one pocket, it moves from one pocket to another pocket. And if you are focused right and doing the right things, then you can be making a lot of money from the stock markets this year. Yes, 2022, everybody is not going to make money. And that's my theme. That's what I'm telling people, that, last 1 or 2 years, we have seen that, any, many, many more, whatever you picked, you would have made money. But this is not going to happen this year. This year, you have to be a very, like, focused stock picker. You have to be clear about where to invest, which sectors to invest, which stocks to invest in, which type of funds to invest in. Use a good wealth manager, a good advisor. I have given my own personal views in a lot of articles which you can read, and I hope they add value. But without taking further time from today's topic, today we have, one of my favorite gentlemen from the health insurance industry, and a person who has done something incredible, and which a lot of you will not know about, is that he was a part of the team that removed the sub conditions from health insurance. Those of you who remember, in the past, there used to be a time that, health insurance had so many sub conditions, that, you could not spend more than this amount on a room, you could not spend more than this amount on medicines, you could not spend more than this amount for surgeons fees, you could not do this, you could not do that. And what would happen is that would create a huge amount of confusion out there in the market, as, people would go, they'll say my sum assured is 5 lakh rupees, the bill was 2 lakh rupees, but what they were getting paid was much lesser because of all the sub conditions. And when we used to go and talk to insurers, this is the time when the PSU insurers used to lead. Nobody was willing to change, because they said, no, no, this is how health insurance is done for the last 20, 30 years. And we tried to change that by bringing out group policies. but there was no company willing to come out with an individual policy. And individual policies, friends, is always better because these are much more stable and long term, and we'll be discussing these in detail. And then it was Krishnan and his team, which they brought India's first sub-condition-less insurance, and that has actually changed the market. So the health insurance industry that you see today has been built by this gentleman. So without further ado, let me invite Krishnan to join me for the talk today.
Thank you, Sanjiv.
Thank you,
Thank you very
Krishnan, for
much.
Thank you for taking out the time to be with us, and especially on the first chat of 2022. And what a coincidence, yeah. Like as we are chatting about health insurance, India's moving towards the wave three, which is the Omicron wave, hopefully, and but in the sense that there should be a lighter COVID wave. But as we enter into an Omicron wave, there is a lot of concern, obviously. What are your thoughts about what should people be doing and how should they be going about it?
So firstly, let me take this opportunity to thank you, Sanjiv, for having me on this show. It's been a pleasure and a privilege to know you and to have partnered with your institution for close to 15 years now. I think a lot of what you referred to is a product of a lot of brainstorming and co-creation that we have done. So, thank you for pushing the industry towards making things simple, towards uncomplicating. But as you rightly pointed out, here we are quite literally in the middle of, and hopefully towards the tail end of a one in 100-year event. In insurance, when you look at risk modeling, you always model for the 1 in 100-year event, and I think little did we all realize that we'd be witness and passing through one. So I think these times have been simultaneously very challenging but equally very exciting from a health insurance standpoint. Clearly COVID has meant much distress, much hardship for people all over the world, and certainly perhaps more so in our country. But I think we've had the privilege in the health insurance industry and in my company, Niva Bupa, of having come to the service of the country. I think India is one of the few places in the world where health insurance industry pays for pays for COVID. In most countries globally, sovereign picks up, governments pick up the financial burden of COVID. Uh, but here, in India, in partnership with distributors such as Bajaj, we've had the unique privilege of serving Indians. And I'm very, very proud today, Sanjeev, to be part of an industry that has settled more than 25,000 crores worth of claims, to be a part of a company which has settled more than 25,000 claims just on account of COVID. And insurance, to go back to its original Latin phrase, or Italian, polisa, it really means promise, right? And I think together we have come good as distributors and manufacturers on the promises that we have made. Looking ahead, all of the early data does suggest that this should be a milder wave as far as hospitalization and deaths are concerned. But just the sheer transmissibility means that we have to be really careful, and the burden, although the rates are lower, we could see a fairly high burden in terms of hospitalization, just because the counts are possibly going to be much higher than even wave 2. So wait and watch at this point and do all the right things as far as COVID appropriate behavior is concerned, Sanjeev.
Yeah, I think very well said, Krishnan. And guys, typically we start off in a different manner, but being the situation we are in, where we are seeing a start of a wave three, so we would request all the viewers, please be very very careful. Please take all the possible precautions. There's nothing to be scared of. Don't be scared, but be smart and be careful, and try to take all preventive measures, and this is the time to do it. So please mask up, be very very careful, wash your hands, sanitize, take all the possible precautions. Most of the country has amazing weather, so use that weather to do your meetings in open air. Have as much fresh air coming into your offices and your workplaces as possible. So try to take care. So now coming to today's talk, Krishnan. So before we get into health insurance and the nuances of health insurance, we wanted to understand Krishnan as a person. So Krishnan, I know all our talks are about the products, our work, what we have done. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the early Krishnan or the Krishnan as a child? What was your background? Where did you come from? What about your parents? And how did you end up reaching this position?
No, thank you again for the opportunity, Sanjeev. Born and brought up, so going back to childhood and sort of fast forwarding, I was born and brought up in Chennai and Bangalore, so in the south of India, so to speak. Schooling again in Bangalore and then Chennai. And, I can claim to a unique a part of my schooling is that I was Rahul Dravid's classmate. He's a big man now, but I've had the occasion and opportunity to actually have played cricket with him in
Oh, wow.
Indranagar, where he grew up. So some color to my early childhood. I'm an engineer and an MBA by education in Madras as Calcutta. In terms of work life, I started with a bank, Deutsche Bank, moved on to consulting with Arthur Andersen in India, and then Deloitte in the US. Came back to India actually with my earlier employer, which is Apollo DKV, then Apollo Munich. Was part of the team that started the company, went through the licensing, scaled the company, and I eventually signed off from Apollo Munich as it was sold to HDFC Ergo, and I joined here Max Bupa, then Niva Bupa, today, a little more than 20 months ago. So it's been one hell of a journey for me on every occasion, and life has taken me to places that I did not envisage. Have been in many parts of India as a student and as a professional, and I've worked in the US for about 6 years. And that was quite a ride as well, Sanjeev. And to your
Krishnan,
question
tell
on
us
how did I,
about your parents also. So, what was your childhood like, and how were you as a child? Were you a naughty one? Were you a studious one? And what was your, how were you in education?
so I my parents, my father was an entrepreneur. He started off working salaried, but quickly moved to entrepreneurship, and he's been an entrepreneur all through. Mom has been a was a homemaker. As a student, Sanjeev, I was quite studious. A tam bram family, as they would call it. So fairly studious and reasonably good at academics, I must say, both in school as well as college. So I did end up being lucky enough to go to both an IIT as well as an IIM through my college education. But more than anything else, I'd say I've been blessed to be in the company of great friends, great colleagues, and great partners such as you, Sanjeev. So I think in life, to move ahead, you need many things: luck, skill, but most of all, the company of good people around you.
Yeah, very well said, Krishnan. Yeah, so you were also telling us, you were saying something when I'd cut you in between.
No, no, I was. It doesn't matter, Sanjeev. Let's move forward.
Okay. So, Krishnan, tell me, like, when you came to India and you looked at the health insurance industry, what were your initial thoughts? You had worked on in health insurance in the international market, and India is very, very different. The way health insurance is done in India is very different from the way it is done internationally. So, just tell us what were your thoughts and and how do you think this whole industry is going to transform in India? What is it that where have we come from, and where do you think we are going to be going? So for our viewers, it is very important for people in India, and especially all the viewers, guys, please take health insurance seriously. Health insurance is the most important thing you can have, because even when you teach financial planning, they say that first thing you buy is a disability insurance, second thing you buy is a health insurance, and then you look at anything else, then you look at any other investments, and then you buy life insurance at the last. So at the end of the day, guys, health insurance is the most important thing. And we have watched movies like Bagban and all other movies, or even in real life, or even when you look at some of the advertisements, that that I will not buy health insurance, but then I will beg, borrow, and steal for the money. So if you look at any family, any financial crisis, 99% of the time it is led by a health crisis. And if you are adequately insured, then you can prevent that, and you can avoid that. We all do understand it, we all know it, but at the end of the day we have not done anything about it. So so it is very important for you to understand the nuances of health insurance and how this is going to move. And I will let Krishnan add his two bits, and I will also say 3 lakh 5 lakh covers are not enough. Today you need to have in India for a family at least 30 to 50 lakh rupee cover, or even a 1 crore cover, and they are not expensive. There are beautiful things like top ups which have come up, where you can say that, okay, I will insure the first 2 lakhs myself and buy 2 lakh to 50 lakh cover. So these are the type of things where you can reduce the cost, but it is very important for you to at least cap your risk or cut your risk. It is very, very important. So Krishna, tell us a little bit about this industry when you joined, and how have you seen it evolve, and where do you think this will go?
Sure. No, I think you made some very, very important points, Sanjeev. So, just to elaborate, and in my own words, I think there are three important things that people should, or three important risks that people should financially protect for, and this is as much for the family as it is for you. And I refer to it as the three Ds, right? One is disease, the second is disability, as you put it, Sanjeev, and the third is death. And all three are in order of lowering frequency, right? So disease is something that all of us could expect to be afflicted with a few times in our lifestyle. Disability, hopefully not much, but certainly more frequent. Death is something that happens once. So I think all of these three, from a financial protection standpoint for the family, as for yourself, I think are very, very important to have. And COVID, in a very, very harsh way, has reinforced how important it is, to make sure that one is protected from all of these three. And just to make this come alive with, with some very real examples, the average COVID hospitalization wave two was, 7 to 8 days length of stay, and the average claim, in Niva Bupa's case, was 1,40,000. Now you can imagine what that does to a middle class family, right? We often talk about wiping out savings, but this is the reality that many families had to go through on account of COVID. And India, as we all know, is not just the communicable disease capital of the world. You have the chikungunyas and the dengue fevers, and now the COVID that uh, you know bring us down, but equally the non-communicable disease capital of the world, right? So whether it's diabetes, heart disease, or increasingly cancers, more and more Indians are coming down with the so-called rich country disease. And any one of these is upwards of 3 lakhs, going up to 15, 20 lakhs, God forbid, if a family member were to come down with any of these. And there have been cases, Sanjeev, where we have paid, in excess of 35, 40 lakhs, in excess of a crore for some of these conditions. So you're absolutely spot on that, a 5 lakh cover in a city like Delhi is, absolutely inadequate. And the best investment that you can make in terms of managing your wealth is actually investing into health insurance of the adequate cover. Going back to your question, Sanjeev, India as a market, when I came, and as we live today, is quite different from most mature markets, in the sense that whether it's the US or Europe or Canada or Australia, or even Singapore, uh, companies sponsor health insurance in a very, very big way. There is social insurance where government comes in and funds for health insurance. So structurally, the financing mechanism in many of these mature countries is quite different from how India is. If you look at health insurance in India today, roughly 45% is corporate or employer provided, about 45% is retail, and the balance, which is privately insured, comes from government sources. So structurally we are very different. People are more on their own in our country relative to other countries. Therefore your point on being insured individually is that much more important. And even if you are insured with your insured by your employer, I think what is very clear, on the back of industries going through pain and challenges and job losses, it's very, very critical and important to have your own individual health cover. And the point which you made, Sanjeev, that have a retail cover of your own for your own peace of mind, I think is very, very critical. So structurally, that's one big way that India is very, very different from most advanced and mature countries as far as health insurance is concerned. We are much more retail than most other countries, and out-of-pocket spend, as you all know, in our country is amongst the highest, even among developing countries. So that much more important to have your own health insurance. I think the other aspect to health health insurance in our country um, is the fact that healthcare is very fragmented, healthcare is very concentrated, and in terms of standards and the plumbing of the industry, as I often say, we are 15, 20 years behind mature markets. So there's a lot of catch up that we need to do. And the government, through its Ayushman Bharat, Ayushman digital health policy, has laid out a beautiful framework. But given that health is a state subject, I think there's a lot of evolution and catch up that we need to do, so that these two industries in concert, health insurance and healthcare, together are able to deliver better health outcomes for our population. But just to sort of summarize, I think the one thing that continues to strike me, as was the case when I first came to this country way back in 2007 or 2006, is the incredible opportunity there is in our country for insurance. So I think, Sanjeev, your company and my company, we do have our job and tasks cut out to make sure that we use the awareness that COVID has brought on for health insurance and translate that into meaningful products that then get distributed to the hundreds of millions of Indians who still need health insurance.
Yeah, I think very well said, Krishnan. Let me thank Harsh for some nice comments. Harsh, great that you read the Dainik Bhaskar articles, and you're finding them good, and it is helping you with your investment journey. And that makes my time. And thanks to Venkata Desai, Mr. Anil Chopra, for some nice comments. Now, I would like to actually take up a question that has been posted by Madhusudan. So, Madhusudan, Krishnan, this is, I don't know why this issue is there, and this is really sad. Let me tell you guys, COVID is covered in all health insurance policies. If anybody out there is telling you anything different, then that is absolutely crap. Okay, so please, it's like any other viral infection. So if anybody is telling you that COVID is not covered in a standard health insurance policy, that is absolutely wrong. So when there are special COVID plans, the reasons for those plans are for the people who don't have health insurance and need a cover only for COVID, or people who want to supplement their health insurance plan because a COVID claim can be large. Like, Krishnan had shared in one data that it is 1.4 lakhs. I had bought cover for some of my own staff. And let me share an example. One of the staff's parents, I think I'd given them a 3 lakh policy. His father's claim went up to 8, 9 lakh rupees, and the poor guy had to actually mortgage his house to get that additional amount of 4 5 lakh rupees to be able to pay for the treatment. So point is that COVID, if it gets complicated, and COVID, what happens is that when COVID comes into a house, it spreads in the whole house. So the worst part is that in that time sometimes 2 or 3 people get sick, and that's why the claim. So even the floating covers get completed. So I don't know, Madhusudan, if somebody has told you this, then please write on the chat. We would like to understand. But let us, let us clarify that COVID is covered under every health insurance policy in India. If anybody is telling you anything to the contrary, that is absolutely not true. So, Krishnan, would you like to add something here?
No, no. In a very selfish way, Sanjeev, to the point which you made, if you take a floater from Niva Bupa with our reassure benefit, you would get unlimited. All your family would get protected. And the point which Sanjeev made at the very beginning in terms of not having sublimits, I think that's something that we are very proud of. Health, and we also say in our new positioning, Sanjeev, that health insurance is meant to help you live your life. Minus the worries. It is meant to free you so that you can live your life, and that philosophy is something that we firmly believe in and embed into all of our products. And you will find that all of our products, come with features that free you from constraints. Let me put it like that.
Yeah, yeah. Nee, and
And
just
certainly, no, and certainly, just to be reiterating and removing any misconception, all retail indemnity health insurance products do cover COVID. COVID is a viral infection, and like any other viral infections, that the products cover, COVID is very much covered. So you should be under no misunderstanding or misconception that COVID is not covered. It's very much covered in our products, and indeed in the rest of the industry's products as well.
yeah. And Harsh has also raised a question which is quite similar, but he's also asking something which is again technically this correct. He's saying, is hospitalization definitely required in case of a cover under Omicron virus? And he seems to be an existing Niva Bupa client. So he says, does my Niva Bupa health insurance plan cover it, or is a separate plan required for the for the home treatment?
So, if hospitalization is needed, whether it's the Niva Bupa plan or any other plan, it will be covered under your existing policy. That's the short answer, Sanjeev.
But Krishnan, like last time in Wave 2, a lot of people couldn't get hospitalized even if they needed to because of the lack of the shortage of beds. Now, this is a question that is coming up in a lot of people's mind, that if such a similar situation comes in, has there been any changes in the health insurance terms and condition to give better coverage for domestic hospitalization? Or if it is required, because at the end of the day domestic hospitalization also helps an insurance company save on claims.
Yeah. So domiciliary cover, again, Sanjeev, is part of many health insurance products. So where a medical practitioner recommends that somebody needs to be treated at home, and there is active medical management, that cover is there. For example, in the Reassure product or in most of our products, Sanjeev.
Okay, so if tomorrow a person needs to be hospitalized but can't find a bed, then and he has to take treatment at home, and they have to get the CPAP machines and others, so that will get covered, or that will not get covered.
That would get covered. In the specifics, one would need to examine, but broadly, domiciliary cover, will address active medical treatment at home.
Yeah. So, guys, let me also tell you that look, it is important. Health insurance is not something that you can just go and buy from anywhere. You have to do some amount of thought, because it's a long term, it's like a marriage. Because, health insurance covers, especially the individual, have certain advantages that after 4 years, even the pre existing conditions get covered. And after 7 years now, if you have stayed with the same insurer, so if you have been with Niva Bupa for 7 years, they can't reject a claim. So these are some of the advantages that the regulator has brought. So it is very important for you to be persistent, and you have to be honest, and you have to stick to a company. So, some of the things I like to say is that please be very honest with your forms. So let an insurance company do proper underwriting and let them understand what they are underwriting. And once they do that, and once you choose a right cover, then you can be very well protected. Krishnan, would you like to add to that?
No, I think it's any financial services product, Sanjeev. The point I want to make is it's very important to choose the right brand, because products. The reality is that in financial services, if I introduced a new feature which is innovative, in 6 months' time, competition will replicate it and make it available in the market. So I think the most important decision for you as a consumer is which brand or company do you want to associate with, because remember, health insurance is a lifelong product. It is perhaps the only financial services product that is meant to last your lifetime, right? Whether you buy the policy at birth or you buy it when you're 25 years old or 35 years old, by regulation the product is lifelong renewable, right? So just remember that, and whichever brand you choose, it has to be a brand that you trust, and it is a marriage, as Sanjeev very very rightly put it, because products do change, they do get copied, they do get replicated, and as long as you're associated with the right brand, you can be sure that in time the product will be contemporary and the premiums would be competitive, right? So I think the most important decision point for you is to associate with the right brand, especially with a product like health insurance, which is meant to last a lifetime. Second is, it's important that you and health insurance is a product that we work with distributors to get to you, right? So we have our own offices, but most of those offices are there so that we partner with distributors to get that product across to you. So again, make sure that you choose the right partner. And Sanjeev is here, and Bajaj is a great distributor. So choosing the right distributor who's taking care of a broad spectrum of your financial service products, I think, is important, because then you have somebody who's looking at 360, and that's what a distributor does. They bring in not just health insurance but curated products from across the spectrum of financial services. So I think, especially in financial services where the products tend to get replicated and become similar, if not same, over time, I think the most important decision that you make is which brand do you trust, which distributor, whether it's a manufacturer or distributor, which ones do you trust, and which ones do you trust to give you the right advice and be with you, for a lifetime. I think that is the most important consideration. And look beyond, the sticker price. I think that's the other piece of advice I would give you. Some company could be less expensive today, but ultimately what you want is, will that company stand by you in your hour of need? And in health insurance, the most important hour of need is claims. So do look at the service track record of the company when it comes to claims payment. What percentage of claims do they settle? And perhaps equally importantly, if you claim 100 rupees, how much of that 100 gets reimbursed? I think that is important. So do get into some of these details as you're making a choice to buy any financial services product. But I would argue, more so in health insurance, because this product is for the rest of your life.
Yeah. So, Krishnan, I know you're a master of products. So let me ask you: is there any man? I know a father loves all his products, so I'm sure you love all the Niva Bupa products. But is one Niva Bupa health insurance product that you're really proud of, or that you would like to share and tell our audience about today?
There is one, and I go as objectively and using data, Sanjeev, so that the sentiment and emotion of a father is kept aside. There is a product that we called Reassure, and I referred to this product earlier. We launched
What is
this
it called? Sorry,
Reassure.
reassure.
Reassure, right? And this product has garnered more than 500 crores of business in about 12 months. And I think that's the largest any single product, retail product, has garnered in the history of private health insurance in a 12-month period, Sanjeev. And this is a product that we are all very proud of in the company. I'm certainly very proud of. And I do want to acknowledge the fabulous job done by the product and the sales teams in Niva Bupa for making this a blockbuster. And it's a blockbuster for very good reasons. In terms of the features, for example, it's got a live healthy feature, which rewards a customer with a discount of up to 30% depending on the number of daily steps they take. It's got an unlimited restoration feature, which gives back the sum insured. It's got a feature which doubles the sum insured if there are 2 claim-free years, and a host of other things. But this is a product that I'm really very proud of, Sanjeev.
Okay, definitely. So thanks for that tip, Krishnan. We'll definitely have look at Reassure for ourselves and all our clients. And and guys, Krishnan is a master of products. And if he's telling you that this is a product which is amazing product out there, then I can assure you that it'll be an amazing product, and it is a product that you should definitely look at for your health insurance. So I will take up this question, which is also a related question, Krishnan. A lot of people say, "Look, I bought an health insurance. Now, do I stick to that product, or do I look at better products that are out there and I port into a better product?" So, what is the right advice according to you?
So my view, Sanjeev, is make the first choice carefully. And as I stated, uh, products evolve. So the reassure that was there in 2021 will be different in 2022 or 2023. And good companies will make sure that the products evolve and stay contemporary. So my strong recommendation, unless you have a compelling issue, is to choose the right company, be careful about the product that you want, but stay with it for all of the reasons that Sanjeev said, in terms of the waiting periods, in terms of the pre-existing, waiting periods, the 2 year exclusions, whatever it is. Your life becomes a lot easier when you need it to be a lot easier when you stay with a company and a product over time. And you can be assured that the product is not static. The product does become contemporary. New features are added every 2 3 years, and the new features will make sure that the product, in our case, we make sure that whatever we do is best in class from a competitive landscape standpoint. So from a customer standpoint, I would suggest to strongly to stay with one company and one product over time, Sanjeev.
So, adding on to Krishnan here, I have slightly different view, because I think some people are there in some products which are really old and outdated. And if you look at those products, they are not truly giving the right coverage. And a lot of people don't know today IRDA offers this facility that you can port within an insurance company also. So porting doesn't mean moving from one company to another company. It can also means that you can move from one product of one company to another product of that company. And I think, Krishnan, if I understand the regulations correctly, today the client, the insured, has the right to move into any new product of the same company, and the company is supposed to facilitate that. So always do keep an eyes open on which company you are. So as Krishnan said, please make the right choice. It is not something that you just go by, do some research by. It is important that you must have the right advisor, the right broker who's going to be there for you at the time of the claim, who can help fight the claim and who can explain you the product. Now, the second thing is choose the right company. That, okay, this is a company which is specialized in health insurance is important for them, and they can give you the right product. Now, the third is that once that company, you have taken that company, you can move within that company's products without any penalty. So if that company comes up with a better product, you must understand and you must work with your advisor okay, which are the newer product? Does it make sense for me to move to that product? If it does, move to that product. Like, we have done it for a lot of our own customers, where we have seen that the earlier product at 15,000-18,000 was giving a 5 lakh cover. With the newer product at about 20,000-21,000 rupees, there is a 50 lakh cover. So, those benefits can definitely happen. So, just Krishnan, for me to understand the IRDA regulations, it's like a seamless process to move within the company from one product into another product for a policy holder now, or no?
So before I address that question, Sanjeev, I do believe we are both saying the same thing, in the sense that I prefaced what I said by emphasizing two things, right? One is, make sure that you select the company correctly and select the product appropriately. If the point that you're making is, look, that may not always be the case, in which case you should be prepared to switch. I do endorse that. Assuming that you've made the right choices of company and product, then I think there's benefit to staying with it. But if the answer to either is a no, then I do agree with you, Sanjeev, that look, don't be stuck in an unhappy marriage, right? That's the flip side to what you just said. Don't be stuck in an unhappy marriage, and do make the switch as the environment and as new products come up. So by all means, do that. And in that sense, the two of us are saying the same thing in different ways, Sanjeev. Now, to your point on portability within the company, it is permitted, but the same norms that apply for portability across companies are applicable. So, for example, if I have a product A and a product B, these products have been priced at different points in time. They have different features. They have different, customer cohorts, etc., etc. So the norms for portability, would be similar. Having said that, companies are free to, look at those norms as long as it's done in a non-discriminatory way. So whatever is the norm that the company chooses to adopt for portability within products, it needs to be done in a non-discriminatory way. But the norms, whether within the company or across companies, are the same as per the regulation.
Okay, understood. Also, Krishnan, there's a one question that is from Pandi Ramanathan, which I think we must take. He's again asking a very basic question, which we get asked a lot of times, is that how do you select the right health insurance plan for senior citizens? Now, what has happened in India, that there are a lot of people who have now reached 60, retired, or are above 60, and they end up being without health insurance because they were either depending on their corporate health insurance plan, or they were even like, there's a question by Mr. MP Jain. He's saying that my PSU employer is covering me for life, and he's a Bajaj Capital client. So thank you, Mr. Jain, for the covering your daughter through us. But what is now happening is that a lot of even the people who are earlier giving a cover are withdrawing their cover, and a lot of people are finding themselves without a cover, and they are above 60. So, Krishnan, what are your thoughts on right health insurance citizens?
So, just to go back to the point which we started the discussion with, Sanjeev, I think even if you have a cover provided by your employer, it's very important to have your own retail health cover. And very objectively, if you're young, I think there's a number of top-ups that are in place, which you could buy, so that you extend and you have the right level of cover, because many companies sort of the commonly offered covers are 2 lakhs or 3 lakhs in terms of sum insured. As Sanjeev rightly pointed out, that is not adequate. So if you're young, an affordable option for you is to buy a top up and carry it through. But I'd say the moment you get into your early to mid 40s, it's best to have your own first rupee retail health insurance, because as most of individual health insurance is, there is a risk underwriting that happens, and once you've contracted, God forbid, some chronic condition or some disease, and God only knows that those are common enough in our country today, it does become difficult, or there are exclusions that are applied, which come in the way of truly having health protection. So I'd say once you get into your early if you have employer insurance, uh, once you're in your early 40s, do get your own first rupee retail product, which is your own and which lasts you regardless of whether you have employer provided health insurance or not. If you have employer provided health insurance when you're young, I think a top up is a great option. But either ways, I think the important point that I do want to emphasize and make is that it is important to have your own cover, which lasts you regardless of whether the employer provides you a cover or not. Top up is a great option when you're young, but do think about a product like Reassure as you start to get older, because all of the benefits of staying with a product, the waivers of pre-existing conditions, the waivers of exclusions, and the ability to get a cover, I think is very, very important to get the cover early, so that you're not left in the lurch when your employer chooses to stop giving you a cover or downgrades your cover. Anything you'd like to add, Sanjeev? I think this is a very, very important point.
Yeah. So I think we have ended up covering a very important point here. Guys, please stay away and be very careful of group insurances. Now, this is something which is, I know this is let me say, an evil of this industry, or necessarily evil, where we companies come out, or even banks come out with very attractive group insurances, which look, oh wow, I am getting an individual insurance with an individual certificate, but it's a group insurance with an individual certificate at an amazing price. But at the end of the day, the sustainability of those policies, guys, is not there. They will not survive in the long run. They will not give you the cover when it is required. If you look at these plans, they last maybe 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, if it's exceptional. But after that, they just fall apart. The point is, guys, please don't buy group insurance covers or add-on insurance. Keep them supplemental. If you actually need to take up, every needs to have an individual health insurance, because IRDA has a lot of protections for the insurers, for the insureds there. You have an insurance ombudsman to help you with your claims. You have a lot of other protection, you have a lot of other rights which are not there in group insurance. So that is one of the points I'm picking out from this, Krishnan. Point is that I know, I'm sure that all companies do group insurances, and they have their own benefits also. But individual insurances, if we are talking to the people out there and we really want to help them in the long run, then they have to have an individual insurance. And but one question, Krishnan, if we can take up, okay, if the person is now above 60, he needs insurance, what does he do?
So, most of the retail health insurance products, the age at entry goes up to 65, Sanjeev. So that, certainly between the window of 60 and 65, most retail health insurance products are already available to customers, prospective customers. The other option, beyond the age of 65, for example, in Niva Bupa's case, we have this wonderful product called Senior First. So beyond the age of 65, this is a product that we have. And again, this product has a host of very rich features. Uh, uh, and this is something that we specifically designed keeping in mind senior citizens. And broadly, Sanjeev, as a company, we are going down the road of segment-based, products. So we have a product which is catering to a broad spectrum segment, which is Reassure. We have the Senior First product, which is targeted at senior citizens. We have a product called Health Premia, which is targeted at the high net worth individuals. So it has features like you can get yourself treated anywhere in the world for a select set of health conditions, and it has a cover going up to 3 crores in terms of sum insured. So that's a product that I think is especially targeted at affluent and high net worth individuals. Uh, but the answer to your question is senior first is the answer for people above the age of 65 from Niva Bupa.
Yeah. So Pandi, these plans available for senior citizens. Niva Bupa has seniors, the product that Krishnan just told you about. Similarly, other insurance companies also have senior citizen product. There, the coverage sometimes does get limited because the risk is also very high, and the insurance company doesn't want to would make its premium too high that it becomes unaffordable. So it will be difficult to get the product. The hunting will be more tougher, but and there may be some amount of restrictions there, but there are coverages available, and we work with a good advisor. In Bajaj Capital, we have a separate team for senior citizen insurance, which takes care of it. And if you need any help, they'll always be there for you to help you with that. Uh, Krishnan, also another question, which is a small question but very interesting, and a lot of people have this question that most of the health insurances offer free annual health checkup, but people don't know how to use it. So, how do they go about using that annual health checkup benefit of a policy, and how do they get the best out of that?
I'll give you the answer in our case, Sanjeev. So, for example, again, um, this health checkup benefit is available in a number of products, but to make it real with the Reassure product, it is available every year. It is available on a cashless basis. We work with a number of service partners who have in turn tied up with hospitals, diagnostic centers, curated, high quality curated set of hospitals and diagnostic centers. So customers need to call in at a 1-800 number. We help them fix the appointment. They walk in and walk out on a cashless basis, Sanjeev. So keeping customer experience in mind, this is how we've curated and offer this with our products.
That's nice, and I think that's quite helpful for people. That please do get in touch with the helpline of the insurers, and they will help you get the best. So, point is that people go helter skelter asking too many different people. The best person to ask is the company's claim helpline, and they will help you understand how you can get your coverage, and then what is the right amount of annual checkup cost that you can take, so that there's no issues later. Also, another question is that this is a question by a customer who says that, look, I'm a Niva Bupa customer, but I'm not happy with my agent. Can I change from that agent to Bajaj Capital? Is that possible? What's the process?
So probably we should take that offline, Sanjeev. I'm happy to formally respond to that customer, but we need an NOC from the existing agent. I mean, let me put it like this: there's a regulatory process to do it. We could individually, address that with the customer.
Yeah. So, guys, look, if somebody is not happy, Bajaj Capital wants to move out, or if somebody is not happy, wants to move to Bajaj Capital, there is obviously a process, but some amount of controls need to be kept so that there are no frauds. Because at the end of the day, you don't want to have bought a policy from Bajaj Capital with an assurity that Bajaj Capital will be servicing you to find that your policy has been transferred to some random agent. So so there are some amount of controls and checks and balances that have been put. But you are definitely the owner of the service, and if you're not happy with the service, then there are definitely things that can be done to move. So then we have Debushi, who's a very customer of Reassure. So Krishnan, I think we have a lot of customer of Reassure, and he's saying that he got 30% discount at the time of renewal, maybe for the being active and the number of steps and other stuff. So we have a lot of questions from people who are very happy at having bought this thing. So there's also one very specific question, but I don't think we'll be able to help them. is that there's a gentleman, Mr. Shankar. He's asking, I'm 75 years old and my wife is 68. Can we get the Niva Bupa Reassure plan? I don't think that will be possible, but I will let you answer that.
So reassure will not be possible, Shankar, but senior first is certainly a possibility. So I would encourage you to get in touch with your, Bajaj contact to inquire about this product. I think it's a fantastic product made for somebody in this age bracket. So senior first is certainly an option.
Okay.
There you
So
go.
all
You have the details.
yeah, they are definitely very good plans available, Mr. Shankar. Please do. There's a QR code on the top also. So if anybody has any question which is very specific, friends, my request is please do ask that question on the email or using the code. Then we can give you a very specific answer, because today we are covering a broader topic and it is not possible for us to answer specific questions. So, but we want to ensure, and Krishnan, we typically for every chat we get between 500 to 1,000 questions, and we make sure everybody gets an answer to their question that anybody posts to these chats. So also going on to the next, people are very excited about that feature you guys had on being fit in the daily steps. So a lot of customers are asking that can you explain that being that these steps that you mentioned can help them get a discount policy in Reassure?
Sure, sure, Sanjeev. And look, I think this is a fantastic program that you're hosting. In terms of, I just realized how beneficial it is from a consumer awareness and education standpoint. And thank you to all of you who are listening to us and for your questions on how to get the 30% benefit from the Reassure product. It's actually quite simple. When you buy the product, you will get a link to download our app. Whether it's the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store. You can go and search for the Niva Bupa customer app. You download. You can register using the mobile number that you used for your application form, and then you need to make sure that you link whether it's the health kit or the Google Fit, which are native apps with, whether it's an Apple phone or an Android phone. Just make sure that you link HealthKit or Google Fit to the Niva Bupa app, and the steps that you take if you're carrying your mobile phone automatically gets synchronized with the app. And if you did 10,000 steps a day, which is a recommended number of steps every day, and if your average steps, if your average steps are 10,000 a day, then you are eligible for the 30% discount. If you do, the discount starts at an average of 5,000 steps a day. I think you get a 5% discount if you did 5,000 steps a day, going all the way up to 30% if you did 10,000 steps a day. So we have kept it really simple. Download our app, make sure that you synchronize it with the health kit or a Google Fit, on your smartphone. Walk, which is in your interest. Walk daily, demonstrate an average, and that average automatically gets synchronized into our app, and you automatically get the up to 30% discount on the Reassure product. So it's really that simple. It's something that's in your best interest, and you get rewarded for doing that.
Yeah, and this is a worldwide trend where health insurance companies are moving just from a claim. They are moving to helping you remain fit, and doing more to ensure that you don't even have to reach that area of taking claims, or even if the claim happens, it doesn't happen for a very senior or a very serious disease. So, Krishnan, can you talk about this transition that is happening into well-being, and how is Niva Bupa focusing on well-being rather than just insurance and claims?
So in Niva Bupa, Sanjeev, we believe, and especially as a standalone health insurance company, we believe that our job is not just to financially protect our customers. That's a very, very important part of what we do. That's why customers buy policies from us. But we believe the days of writing a risk and coming back to renew it are long gone. So our approach is to partner with our customers in their healthcare journeys. One example of that I gave, which is to help them stay fit and reward them for staying fit by the simple act of walking every day. But more fundamentally, we believe, and our approach to partnering with the healthcare journeys of our customers is threefold. Number one, if somebody comes down with a health condition, we want to make sure that we are able to provide them curated and very, very high quality health content, which is just about knowing their health condition. So here we have partnered with our joint venture promoter company, which is Bupa. They have very, very high quality clinical content, and we make that available either on our website or on our customer app for all our customers. So the first part of partnering is know your condition. The second part is, today almost everybody, when they have to go through a treatment, asks for a second opinion. And here, Sanjeev, we have partnered with a number of third parties that offer second opinion from some of the leading consultants in the country. So know your condition. The second step is confirm your diagnosis, and that's something that we want to play a very meaningful role in the lives of our consumers. And the third one is, today really nobody has a good answer to who is a good doctor, which is a good hospital, where do I get good value for money when I have to get a certain treatment. So finding this whole job of search, whether it's a doctor or a provider or understanding costs, is the third part where we want to play a meaningful role in our customers' lives. And all of this is underpinned by, partnering with people on health and wellness, steps being one simple example of that, Sanjeev. But this is really where we want to go and what we want to be. A trusted partner, not just, when it comes to a financial need, but also for healthcare needs.
Yeah, I think very well said, Krishna. And I think that's the whole focus. Let me share a story of my father. My father is a very prolific financial writer, and he's a great financial market expert. But last 10 years, he's been writing an article every month. He writes it, but that article never has been on finance. It's always on health, and he's always
Wow.
researching Ayurveda, some homeopathic, some alternative treatment. Even you go to his room, he's reading Scientific American, he's reading so many scientific journal and so many allopathic articles from the top journals, and he writes every month, or he gives his views, and he's made it into a book called Live Longer. Then I asked him, why not write on finance? He said, look, money can only be enjoyed if you are healthy. And for me, if my clients are healthy, then they'll be healthy. So for me, if I can manage their health, that is a higher priority for me. So yeah, thank you for showing it. And I would request the team to even put his articles, which have a great demand, in his book Live Longer here. So I think, guys, the world is moving towards wellness, and Niva Bupa is playing a fantastic role there. And kudos, Krishnan, to what you said. I truly believe in what you have said, and when people follow that, I think it'll be really amazing for that. I know we are over time. Krishnan, any last comments or any last thing that you like to tell people?
No, I think more than people, I'd say, Sanjeev, you and I have our job cut out. This is an incredible time to be in the health insurance industry. I think the job of going out there and talking to customers about how important this product is, how important it is to have the right sum insured. I think it's an incredible opportunity for both of us collectively. And to all your customers and prospective customers on the show, I think jointly it is our commitment to make sure that we offer you peace of mind. At the end of the day, that's what health insurance is meant to do. And we want to make sure that should you buy, should you choose to buy, the products from us, peace of mind is what we have to offer to you.
Very well said. Guys, insurance is about peace of mind, and don't forget to get that peace of mind, and don't use any shortcuts, because health insurance is a long term journey, it's a long term partner. Please avoid any shortcuts in terms of group insurances, or in terms of just choosing that quickly, or not buying an adequate sum insured, or not buying a proper policy. Please buy right and stay tight. So this is what I would like to say. And thank you, Krishnan, for taking out time today. And I think you added a great value to everybody's life today. And you helped everybody start this year 2022, towards being healthier and fitter, and obviously remaining healthy and being able to retain their health. And I think that's an amazing contribution that you have done today. Thank you.
Thank you, Sanjeev. Thank you for the opportunity. Wonderful interacting.